In our first reading today, Moses gives us an important reminder about the law of God and how we're to live it out. He's speaking, I think we all perhaps hopefully can recognize that he's speaking of this what Jesus calls and what's referenced in the gospel as the first and the greatest commandment in the law, right? The great Shema prayer of Israel. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. And then, of course, the second, as Jesus said, is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And Moses, in speaking about this fundamental statute of the law, this fundamental commandment, he says, it's not too mysterious and remote for you. It's not up in the sky that you should say, who will go up in the sky to get it for us and tell us of it, that we may carry it out. Nor is it across the sea that you should say, who will cross the sea and get it for us and tell us of it, that we may carry it out. No, he says, it's something very near to you, already in your mouths and in your hearts. You have only to carry it out. This great law of love, this fundamental commandment, this fundamental statute of the Lord is written on our hearts. From the very moment of our creation, it's part of us because we're created in the image of a God who is love, who constantly pours himself out in love for another, who constantly pours himself out in love for us. And as complicated as we want to make the Christian life, it really boils down to this one thing. And all of our studies of moral theology and all of those things are really just seeking the answer to this one question. How do we love? Perhaps it would be a fruitful practice if every morning every one of us were to spend some time with the Lord and asking him and listening for his answer to the question, Lord, how are you inviting me today in my life to love you? How are you inviting me right now, today in my life, to love my family, my children, my parents, my siblings? Lord, how are you right now in my life calling me to love my coworkers or my classmates or the stranger that I meet in the grocery store or the person driving 10 miles an hour too slow in the left lane or the person that I disagree with politically or the one person in my life that gets on my nerves more than anyone else? How am I to love that person? Because the reality is that God is inviting us to love all of those people. And at the heart of it, that is what the Christian life is. We're invited into the life of God. And the life of God is love. And if we're invited into the life of God who is love, then our lives are meant to be conformed to that love. The love that we receive every time we come here to the altar, every time we come and receive Holy Communion. The love we received at the moment of our baptism. The love we receive when we come to the sacrament of confession, when we were confirmed, when we were married, when we were ordained. Every time we encounter the Lord, we encounter that love. And he invites us into a deeper participation in that love. And so really what it all boils down to is to ask ourselves, and more importantly, to ask the Lord the question, how am I being invited right now in my life to love? So today, as we receive him, let us ask him that question. And let us have open hearts to receive the answer to that question, so that we can faithfully give ourselves to the Lord and to one another in love. And so come to live the life of God and to rejoice with him forever in heaven.